Man, that's a good question. The first time I stepped in a ring, I was as an amateur. I was 9 years old. I was 9 years old at a Seca Boxing Club. That was my first amateur show.
When did you first start boxing and training?
Oh wow! Honestly, I can't even tell you. I've been doing this forever. I was a baby when I started doing it. So, but the first thing I remember is going to LA Boxing, which is not open anymore. Um, full of great pros, champions, and my grandfather obviously was one of the, great coaches back in the day. My father, and yeah, I remember just being with them and being right there at LA Boxing, watching all the champions.
Tell us about growing up with your grandfather and your father. You obviously tell us about the gyms you were at, obviously LA
Hmm.
Boxing, and the fighters who were around that environment.
Yeah. Being around my grandfather and my father was a great thing. They were a great team. To me, one of the best coaches in the world, and rest in peace to my grandfather. And it was a great experience being around these champions like Martin Castillo, Israel Vasquez, Mike Anchondo, Reggie Johnson. It was their work ethic and their hunger, to become champions, and they did become world champions. Was something that motivated me when I was little, and so it's something I wanted to do since I was a baby.
When you were growing up, did they train you or who trained you during your amateur career?
My amateur career, my father. My father trained me. Oh no, my grandfather was busy. He had a lot of fighters, so he didn't really. But he would help me out here and there when he couldn't, when he had time. But it was mostly my father. Yeah.
Tell us about your amateur career. How many fights, titles that you won,
Hmm.
championships?
Yeah, I had about 120 amateur fights. We won national silver gloves, national blue and gold invitationals, pals, national pals, the JOs. I had a pretty good background, and then turned pro when I was 18.
So you turned pro when you were 18. How would you summarize your experience in total as a young boxer, as a young amateur, and how being around your grandpa, your father, and all these great professionals prepared you
Oh
for
yeah,
that
yeah.
first professional fight?
You know what? Man, that had a lot to do with how far I've gone today. Because when I was an amateur back in the day, I got to spar with great champions, and as an amateur, I mean that's pretty crazy. And I never cared who I sparred with or my father. That's just the way my father taught me how to just think, and just learn from the best, and get that experience, and that definitely helped me prepare for this moment now. And yeah, it's crazy.
Would you consider yourself more on the technical
Mhm.
puncher, puncher? What would you say?
Growing up, I'm definitely more on the technical side, but being with Rudy Hernandez has taught me. He taught me, to sit down on my punches more, and use my body, and try to just, fight inside. So it's something that me and my dad talked about, and going with Rudy, and I know he's gonna take me to the top, and yeah.
What would you say to your father? Because obviously it takes a lot of humility
Hmm.
to say, you know what, I took my son to a certain level, but now I want someone else to take him to another. What would you say to your dad about taking
It's a big sacrifice, but he understands, man. Especially being in this sport for so long, it's just something we decided to do, and he understood. He understood that because father relationship can obviously going into the gym. Sometimes oh, that's your dad. That's not your train. So it's just a sacrifice he had to take, and he understands that. Yeah.
How was your professional career? Because you haven't been matched easily.
Yeah.
I think you fought already with two undefeated fighters.
Mhm.
First one with Edgar Valerio
Mhm.
for the NABF Featherweight Title.
Yeah, yeah.
Battle of undefeated. He hurt you in
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
fight, but you came back and you stopped him. What did you learn from that fight with Valerio?
Man, just obviously just to never give up, and conditioning goes a long way. That's one thing that helped me in that fight, and I think that's a good fight that's gonna help me into to this fight, because Edgar Valerio was also a tall, lengthy fighter. And yeah, and he was able to crack. Yeah, he was a great fighter. So that helped me a lot going into this fight.
The second tough fight was against Rigoberto Mendoza.
Yeah.
What did you learn from that? Because obviously he's an undefeated fighter, came in aggressively, but you were calm.
Mhm.
Kind of raised the storm, and then you found to get up there and uppercut straight right hand.
Yeah, yeah.
You think that sparring and fighting, sparring professionals, sparring very aggressively, prepared you to be calm in the ring for a big challenge like that?
I think yeah, just being in the sport for so many years, helped me a lot. Just to be patient and wait, let it come on its own, let the knockout come on its own, and yeah, that I think also helped me for this fight because he was very aggressive. Throws a lot of punches as well, and yeah, and he's a tall southpaw, so that was pretty difficult. But yeah, that definitely helped me going into this fight as well. Yeah.
So, if you can, in a complete seconds, how has your professional career, whole, with Golden Boy and obviously before, prepared you for your first world title fight?
Ah man. Just the fights they've been putting Golden Boy, the fighters they've been putting me up with, and good fighters, and getting that experience and all those rounds I got to get it through my last fights, and yeah, man, again, just the experience, and thankful for the opportunity that Golden Boy's giving me for this world title shot against Zucan.
Now, you're fighting against Shukai this Saturday.
Mhm.
One of the things you've noticed is that he kind of has to set his feet
Right.
before punching. In your mind, what's your response to, okay, this guy has to set his feet? Does that mean you have to move more? Or does that mean you have a split second where you know he's about to punch? You can do something defensively?
Oh yeah, definitely. Good. Just count. When he throws, I gotta let go because he's a high volume puncher. And yeah, a lot of footwork going into this fight, and just being at a certain distance because he's long, so I can't really give him that distance where he's gonna be able to go off, and especially being a high volume puncher, I gotta be careful with that. But I gotta counter and let go, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna do going into this fight.
One of the things we talk about with media is that your grandfather trained world champions.
Right.
Your father trained world champions.
Right.
This will be the opportunity for someone in the Robles family
Yeah.
to become a world champion.
Yeah.
In a complete sentence, and that means, so you can be as clear as possible. What would you tell your grandfather? And what would you tell your father about having this opportunity and then winning the world title? What is it going to mean?
Yeah. It's gonna mean a lot, man. Growing up in this sport, it's crazy, to be here now and actually fighting for the world title. It's a dream come true. And I would tell my grandfather, man, thank you for giving me that experience that you have, being around world champions and being a great trainer that you are. And man, I would tell my father. I would tell a lot of things to my father because me and my dad are really close. We have a great relationship, and he's done so much for me. All the sacrifices he's done for me, and man, I'll just thank you, Dad, for all the sacrifices he's done for me, and never giving up on me and believing in me since day one, since I was 9 years old at my first amateur show at Azteca Boxing Club, and yeah, and of course I'll tell him I love them.